to Matt, who's going to get into the specifics of our medical device coatings.
Hello again, everyone. Again, my name is Matt McGlon. I'm the medical sales manager for Hydromer. And again, excited to talk to you guys and hopefully build a relationship with you guys over time moving forward. So I want to first start off by just showing you some of the devices that you're probably well aware of that we can coat. You know, over the last 40 years that Hydromer has been in business, we've specialized in a lot of different fields in devices that diagnose and treat different medical diseases and areas that are needed to be treated, especially in the cardiovascular space, the neurological space, urological space, excuse me, and the peripheral vascular space. You know, catheters, balloon catheters, stent catheters, sheath dilators, those are all in our wheelhouse that we've been coating for years, as well as guide wires, and as well as we're getting into ophthalmology a little bit more in terms of with IOL cartridges. So some of our features, you know, Robbie did a great job talking about hydrophilic in general and what that's all about. But, you know, our bread and butter and what we pride ourselves on is our high lubricity that we can offer our customers. So lubricious is the number one thing. Again, going back and coating, being able to coat many different products with our coatings there, if that's what your needs are. And then also we can get into some anti-thrombus type coatings as well, offer that capability, which I'll discuss in the next few slides. We've also have a history in working with antimicrobial coatings, and I wanted to make a note too that we are open and willing to partner on new technologies with that as well. We also specialize in low particulates, also cell growth enhancing, which if you're not familiar with that, that would be more of coating a stent or a covered stent and help with the cell ingrowth around that stent so it could better be indwelling within that vessel. We can work with you on biocompatibility. We've also worked in the past at drug-eluting different balloons and catheters and stents, as well as non-leaching and others. So this slide shows a bullseye diagram that we put together, really just showing, you know, in the middle of the bullseye, obviously, some of the key devices that are in our wheelhouse and we've had a lot of success with over the past years. Again, listed there is the neurovascular, peripheral vascular, percutaneous coronary angioplasty balloons, micro occlusion balloons, which I know is a hotbed right now in the medical industry, and we're getting better at coating each and every day. And of course, guide wires and urinary as well. We're very strong in those areas. And then some of our key substrates that we're seeing a lot of over the last few years, and more so, more than ever, is the PBACs and the polyurethane, nylons, especially on balloons, obviously, and silicones, and certain Foley catheters and endotracheal tubes. And we also specialize in latex, polyester, and PET. Some of the outliers there in the lighter areas, those aren't necessarily doesn't mean that we can't coat those, because we have had experience in really all substrates out there and all implants and devices in the medical market. But those are some things that, you know, we continually work on, and we can definitely partner with you, with our R&D team and myself to get a good solution for you. So I wanted to review really quick, you know, why UV versus thermal cure. Hydromer over the last 40 years has specialized in more of a thermal cure approach with our coatings. We do offer UV, but thermal cure is really what we do for most of our business. You know, obviously I wanted to get into the differences between the two. So obviously UV, it's cured by ultraviolet light. Heat is obviously done by a large oven that you can place your catheters in, small to large. Some of the market applications, they're very consistent between the two, but the one thing that UV curing cannot do, obviously, is the inner diameter, which I'll get into in a minute, but more so with different obscure or different types of geometries, whether it might be a diagnosis or diagnostic piece of equipment, ophthalmology with IOL lenses that have, you know, different curvatures and bends and sharp turns where you need to get the coating in different orifices. ThermoCure enables us to do that. Sterilization methods, again, pretty consistent between both of them. But all of our coatings can handle these type of sterilization methods, and we can discuss those more on your needs. Coating applications, again, going back to UV, UV is only capable of doing OD, which if you want to ID coated, that's where thermal curing comes in. So we pride ourselves on that. We work with a lot of catheters that you can do both ID and OD, which we're seeing more on the market and more demand for that, to have both those options. On top of these 4 areas of UV versus thermal, I wanted to touch on that, yes, UV, you can coat and cure more products probably on a day-to-day basis. But thermal curing, because it does take a little bit more time to heat cure, we really truly believe that it gives you a better bond and better durability over time, which we've proven to a lot of our customers over the years. I wanted to list out some of the ways that we test our coatings and that we offer our customers every day. If you are a new customer of ours, or again, a current customer, in each and every lot, we offer a dye test and a friction test. Those are our 2 key tests that we do, again, on every product that comes in-house, or at least each PO or each lot. The dye test, we use a crystal violet dye. We've been using it for years with good feedback and results. It proves both uniformity and adherence, and we share that with you. The friction test, we have 2 options here at Hydromer. One is a linear test that we created years ago that have worked well for us, and we also have an industry standard method as well. But this obviously tests the lubricity level and shows you those results as well as durability, and I'll get into that a little bit more. We can also offer a coating thickness test, which I think is critical with especially some startups or other new customers that need that reading on when you first coat those, and for some of your testing and how thick our coating is actually on your device to see what changes within that thickness. We can also we've been working with third parties for particulate and biocomp testing, which we're happy to help you set up. So getting into some of the data that backs our coatings. Here's a third-party study done by a lab that we're partnered with. This is showing a polyurethane hemodialysis catheter. Obviously, the one on top is uncoated, and the bottom 2 are coated each with a different coating of ours. Really a workhorse, if you will, coating. Some of the workhorse coatings that we have in-house that are off the shelf and that we can offer to you. But obviously, you can see the thrombus formation on this hemodialysis catheter when it was put into a blood loop test for over 2 hours and taken out, and you can obviously see the thrombus being formed and created on the uncoated compared to the coated of the hydrophilic coatings, or Hydromer coatings, excuse me. This is just a graph that, again, after this webinar, I'm happy to send to you. If you send me a note, I'm sure you'll get all our contact information. But again, this backs up what I just discussed in terms of the thrombus accumulation on the uncoated compared to the 2 coatings of Hydromers. And you can obviously see there's a high platelet count on the uncoated compared to the coated. Getting into the friction results, which is really important with 99% of our customers, obviously. We pride ourselves on this, again, going back to the UV curing and our thermal curing and our hydrophilic coatings that we've had for 40 years. You'll get this graph along with a couple other pieces of information, again, with each lot. And what this graph is showing you is the uncoated being the red bar compared to the blue and green, which is the coated product at 1 to 3 cycles, and then 25 cycles on our friction test, showing the coefficient of friction. This is really important because obviously you see the uncoated, that's usually going to show up that way. But then when you look at the 1st to 3 cycles, that's going to really show you the lubricity right off the bat. But then what's really key and what's exciting here is at 25 cycles, if that far that level is lower or at the same or just about a little higher than the blue, than the 1 to 3 cycles, that really shows our durability and that the lubricity is keeping up over time. So it's good stuff. And that wraps it up for me. Again, I'm more than happy to follow up with you on some more information, but I'd like to hand it over to Silke now to talk about industrial coatings.